Hey YouTube. Well, thought I'd come on here. It's about 4:30, so I got a little bit of light left. I spent all day trying to find this lighting situation. Well, I ordered the light on Amazon, the ring light, but now I need something to stand it up on my desk. I can't use a tripod because it's got to be on my desk. So I haven't had much luck with that. There is one company that makes one, uh, different company, which means it probably won't fit this ring light. They make one that looks just like it. I forget the name of it, but I saw it online, and it's about 80 bucks. But that's not really the issue. The issue is that it's not made for that light. So I may have to jerry rig it. We'll see. Anyway, light's on its way. So thought I'd come on here. A couple of days ago, Miss Mimi, uh, she goes by screen name Miss Mimi, asked me a question. And I said I would answer it, but I was running around and I couldn't get to it. So I'll answer it now. All right, Miss Mimi says, Timothy, would you be willing to post a video discussing why you have chosen not to date? It's easy to assume it's due to the obvious, your HIV status, but I'm sure I'm not the only one curious as to why you decided no companionship at all versus non-sexual dating or dating another HIV person, etc. Just think I'd be just think I'd be interested it'd be an interesting perspective to listen to for those of us who have stumbled upon your YouTube channel. Okay, that's a reasonable question. The question was posted on the thing I did about the law being considered about HIV and transmitting and changing the law and so forth. Anyway, so the answer to that is, Mimi, sometimes you leave the game, right? And sometimes the game leaves you. In other words, I'm 58 years old now. When I was 20, 22, 24, 26, I could walk down the street and, we do this little gay shuffle thing. You kind of wait a couple of minutes and you look back and then he looks at you and then it really is that easy. So when I was in my 20s, it's pretty easy to pick up guys. I don't think that many people are that interested in guys my age, honestly. Since I don't use or go drink or anything like that anymore, bars are not comfortable for me. So I can't go. I think I could probably talk up on something if I put the time in, but I just don't get that many offers, and I don't go to places where you would meet guys at. It's not like I'm saying I'm celibate for some spiritual or religious reasons. I'm just an old dude. So all of my equipment still works. I've tested that. I've tested that the equipment works, so that's not the issue either. But I don't know. My sister was telling me that my aunt told her a long time ago, when she got divorced. She said, "Don't wait too long." And I think what she meant by that is if you live alone too long, you by yourself too long, you get used to it. So for me, to imagine a dude in here in my apartment or me in his apartment together, we're not rich people, so we couldn't have no palace in close quarters. I don't know. It's just not. It doesn't seem. When I was young, it seemed natural. I mean, alone for a guy, I always wanted to be in a relationship, and I think my character is I want to be in a relationship. But I was much more forgiving in those days. So I don't know if that I can even do it now. I've been living alone my partner died something like 25, 26 years ago, 24 years ago. And so uh, I don't know if I could. I would love to. I like the idea. I think I could still meet somebody, but I don't know where I would meet him at. I don't go on those nasty sites. I will tell you, let me be honest and tell you a couple of things that brought me to these conclusions that I was better off alone. I used to occasionally, okay, so you guys are going to looking at this thing, probably already know that I used to be a drug addict. So my drug was crystal meth. So that's basically all we did was have sex. That's kind of something, a side effect of using crystal meth is it makes you have a lot of sex. And that's why a lot of gay men, I believe, get involved in crystal meth. Now, for many people, it changes after a little bit and you end up, tweaking out on the street and fixing TVs and just tweaking, wasting time. But for many of us, sex is the gateway. So as a young man, I had two partners. I was with them back to back, and for me, I just never really bought into the kind of casual sex kind of thing. I mean, I would get drunk and go to the bath, end up in the bathhouse or stuff like that. But it was very hard for me to just go up and meet strangers and go have sex with them, even as a young man, where my libido was at its height. So part of the reason I ended up on dope, a lot of it was I was running from HIV because people were getting positive a lot at that time, and I felt like my life was coming to an end, and I wanted to touch somebody before it was over, kind of thing. I think it's just I don't think it was a coincidence that I started shooting up drugs right when HIV came to the United States, but that's when it happened. It happened in the same 2 year period. Anyway, 2 years from the time I heard about it to the time I ended up on dope, so I had a choice, and I chose to get high. I think it was just a lot of it was just fear, but. Yeah, so there, you walk by somebody. So then I was about maybe close to about 30 years. I was 28 when I started using meth, and that was old in the circles that I was coming in. Young gay boys, 28 was starting to get up there because like 30 was like an old dude. You know what I'm saying? And I'm almost 60 now. So, but anyway, what I discovered when I was doing drugs was it took the age away. In other words, people were not interested in how old you were when you did this particular drug. All they wanted to know was who had if you had dope. So a lot of time, all you had to say was tweak and freak, and that was it. It was that easy. So so I quickly learned that if I was going to be doing drugs, I need to be selling drugs or have access to drugs constantly. Because if you're not selling it, then it's the constant hustle of trying to get money. So I had this very active love life. Just put it like that. Wrap it up like that. And then so when I stopped. I was 44 years old. Yeah, I was 44 years old, and what I discovered was when I stopped, because I was having a very active sex life. I was a drug dealer here in Tenderloin, and I'm on Market Street. I live in San Francisco. There's plenty of people around, but and the primary thing was holding me there was it was the split between sex and money was keeping me hooked. When I finally got free, and I use the language I use. You guys make fun of people say they delivered, but I am delivered from that particular thing. Oops, up Chuck just came. Glory. When I got clean at 44, what I discovered was I was really was an old black dude. So I didn't have any drugs to romance, bring people in. Uh, uh, I was stuck like when I was a young person, when all I had was my personality and whatever my physique was. What a physique was shot out. And so now I was kind of lost for a while there. I was in therapy and all kind of stuff, trying to figure out why I couldn't get back into just having a normal sex life or go and meet guys. I mean, I don't want to be a whore or anything, but the only way you're going to meet somebody is if you meet people. And I just couldn't seem to do that. I was very conscious of my age, but okay, I don't want this thing to be an hour long, so let me just jump right to it. So I used to go occasionally to Craigslist. I would go there maybe once a month, just just so I can feel that I'm still alive and try to hook up with somebody. And I had a couple of decent hookups, but on this particular night, I think I was about 3 years clean at this point. I maybe had sex maybe three times in that time, but maybe 3 or 4 times in that 3 years. I met this guy online. We talked all night. That's the other thing that's exhausting for me. This back and forth thing. So he happened to live pretty close to where I was. Now, as a young person, I was considered. The cops always called me tall and slim. Well, put it like this: I'm the same height, but the slim part is gone, right? So I get over this guy. He lives a couple blocks from where I lived at the time in the Castro, and I went over there. We took our shirts off, and he told me, this is not gonna work. So Basically, it's because I had a belly. I wasn't, I didn't present myself as anything other than what I was, but he just couldn't go there. So, of course, my feelings got hurt because it's so hard for me to get up enough nerve to even get on there. So I got rejected. Craigslist. All right, so I went back to my apartment. I said, well, I'm not going to give up. I contacted another guy, and this guy happened to be 2 blocks over from that guy on the same street, on the very same street. So I said, okay, I'll try it again. I went over there, and do you know that man told me this is not going to work? I was devastated. You hear me, girls? Just the thought I had made it far enough to get my shirt off in front of another person was hard, and then to be rejected 2 times in one night on the same street, I was through. I said, okay, that's it. I'm not gonna have no more strangers hurting my feelings, have me feeling some kind of way by myself. But I had to come to realize is I am not. I am at that time. I don't remember how it was. Probably close to 50. I was in my late 40s, something like that. Anyway, I just wasn't doing that online thing anymore. I was not going to deal with rejection. I was not going to deal with all that going back and forth. And I'm really not that attracted to just having sex with strangers. That's what drugs did for me. Drugs released me to be able to do that for the first time in my life. So when you took the drugs away, I went right back to being Timothy. Very much the same way I was when I was a young man, where I wanted to meet someone. So that was pretty much it. I mean, I got delivered that night as far as casual hookups. And I don't really meet a lot of guys. I mean, I'm in community. I'm involved in my church, and which is a gay church. Gay men in there. I never met anybody there. I'm involved in do a volunteer thing in Castro. I live in the Castro. I facilitate groups, support groups, things like that. So I mean, I'm out there in a way, but doing positive things. But I'm not in places where you would cruise somebody. It would seem very strange for you to cruise people in the situations that I'm in. So anyway, so it never happened. That's kind of the kind of where it is. I didn't choose to leave the game. The game left me. I'm sure if people were hitting on me, or I can walk down the street, put on my skinny jeans and all that kind of stuff, which I know these kids still do that because I see them in Safeway. I live right next to the Safeway. And I see them. They walk down the aisle, turn around, and look. And that is so. I know that. I know how that works. And so people are still doing it, but they just don't want to do it with me. That, and I think the other part is just the natural aging process. Eventually, it's just not that important. That's why I guess it tickles me when people equate being a homosexual only with having sex. Because long after you stop having sex, you're still a homosexual. I still look at people. I still think that one's hot. I've never once looked at a woman and said, "Oh, she's sexy," or "She's hot," or "I would like to," you know. Never. That hasn't happened. So my attraction is still homosexual. I hope that answers it for you, Mimi. As far as the HIV thing, yes, there's awkward. It's awkward when you're on there because I have to tell people that I am HIV positive, and that eliminates probably 3/4 of people anyway. A lot of people just don't test, or they don't tell, they don't talk about it, and none of that is comfortable for me. I'd have to be upfront about it, and so that also is another layer. I don't have to worry about those things anymore. I don't have to worry about a lot of things because I'm not cruising. So it's just something that happened naturally. I would love to meet somebody and share a relationship with them. I don't know how sexual it would be at this point, but as I said, everything still works. So who knows? Who knows, honey? I guess men and women are not that different in that respect. You know, I know a lot of women are single for years and years and years, and after a while, it just gets easier to stay single. You just don't want to be bothered with people. I mean, I hate to say that, but the time it takes to meet someone, it's just so awkward. Now, I would tell you, I had one clean experience. I call it a clean experience because it wasn't about just a sexual hookup. My dog, that's my husband right there. See the loud one? He, he does make a difference in my life. I'll say that. Although I don't have sex with my dog. Stop it. Okay, what was I saying? Oh yeah, I went to this thing called Match.com, and you go, it's a dating site, and I said, well, let me try that. So I went one time, and the guy was nice and everything, but it was so awkward for me. I mean, I just I didn't feel that experience of meeting somebody in a coffee shop and sitting and dating them and talking to them. So I don't know how it happened for me. I really don't. I know I have faith. I'm a believer, so I know God can do anything. If He decides that okay, it's time for you to be with somebody, then it'll happen. But I don't know how much energy I'm willing to put in it at this point. And it's not all bad. I mean, I enjoy my space, my peace. But you know, we all have those moments. All right, Mimi. I hope I answered your question. I know not too many people are gonna be interested in the love life of no almost 60-year-old dude, but thank you for asking.